Hi and good crafternoon. My name is Glenn, also known as Mr. Crafty Man. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making coasters, and we're going to be using sublimation to make these. I've made pre-made some. You can see how vibrant the colors on these are, and they're kind of a rubber. But the front of them, before you sublimate them, it's white. Like almost everything else that we sublimate, it's either white polyester or it has a polyester coating on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the iColor ProRip software, and I'm going to show you how we choose our design and size it and print it out, and after that we'll go ahead and cut our design out and we'll attach it to one of these coasters and we'll put it in the heat press. So I will see you at the computer.
Okay, so now we're over at the computer. We've got our ProRip software open, and what we're going to do first is we're going to go up to the upper left hand corner, click on the green plus sign, and we're going to add a file. Okay, so these are my downloaded files, and you can see here I have the Indian Chief coaster, which I've already turned into a PNG file, and we're going to go ahead and click it and click open. And this takes a few seconds for it to fully transfer into our program here. As soon as it does, we click it, and then we're going to go up to the top menu and click full page. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to go down to the measurements. We measured it. We know our coaster is 4 inches. So let's go ahead and set in 4 inches, and then we'll click the measurement box next to it, and that'll go to 4 also. Then we're going to push copy, which allows us to have more coasters on the same page so we don't waste paper. And we're going to put 4 of them on this page. So let's go ahead and apply. And then what we're going to do is we're going to verify that we're using the right size paper, which is 8.5 by 11. And then I like to use the bypass tray, so I'll set it on bypass. And I like best quality for my printing. Okay, now we'll click the next tab and we're going to choose what we're working with. We're doing sublimation, and I like the vibrant colors. You can do vibrant or normal, so we'll click it. And then just for the fun of it, let's click back a tab. Okay, now look, it's changed to tray 1 and standard, so that's something we have to check. So let's put it back on bypass tray and best quality. Okay, now we're going to go up to our job menu, right click, and we're going to scroll down to print. And you'll see it renders rather quickly. And now it's going to go to the print taskbar, and it takes a little bit. So we're going to sit here and wait for that. Once it's finished, that'll disappear from the menu. You'll hear your printer kick on, and that's when we start feeding our piece of paper in. Okay, so now that we have got our design printing, let's take our design and I will meet you back over at the table to see how it turned out.
Okay, so now that we have printed out our design, we are going to have to cut them. And like we did on the software, we measured our item that we're going to sublimate ahead of time. These were 4 inches, so we had chosen in the ProRip software to make our design 4 inches in diameter also. And I'm going to lay this down and show you how nicely this is going to fit. Okay, so you can see when we lay our coaster down on these designs, it fits perfectly. There's just a tiny bit of the design overlapping, which I like, because otherwise you risk having a little bit of a sliver of a white border. So let's go ahead and cut one of these out. And excuse me, as I've said in other videos, we don't cut along the lines. And the reason why is everywhere that has the toner on it is going to be very sticky. It's going to stick to our sublimation blank. So everywhere there is not toner, it doesn't stick at all. And this is a hot pull that we have to do. Remember, when we do sublimation, it's always a hot pull. If you let it cool, then it's going to stick, the paper will stick to your sublimation blank, and you're going to have a very, very difficult time getting it off. So what I like to have here is some corners on it. Doesn't have to be fancy or anything. Okay. Then I'm going to cut a few pieces of the heat tape, and you can buy this tape on Amazon. Got to find the beginning of it, and there it is. And I'm just going to put down like 2 little pieces of it. Start out by sticking it to the edge of my table. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my coaster down on top of it with the white side towards the ink. Make sure it's on there good, and then I'm going to put a little piece of tape down on this corner, and I will put a little piece of tape down on this other corner here as well. Okay, so now that we've got it on there, let's go over to the heat press. Okay, so we're over at the heat press now, and you can see I've got it heated to 390 degrees, and it should be between like 385, 390, and I have my timer set for 90 seconds. You probably remember when we were doing mugs, we had it set for about 3 minutes. This here we don't need to when we're doing t-shirts or coasters or something like that. So we have it set for 90 seconds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put down a blank piece of paper on the bottom. And the reason why is because I don't, if any of this toner bleeds through, I don't want it getting on my pad and ruining anything I try and make in the future. Then I'm going to lay my coaster down on top of that, and I'm going to put a piece of the silicone paper on top of it. And we're going to press and start our timer. Alright, so our time is about up here. So we're going to turn off the timer. And remember, this is a hot pull, so we need to get this off as quickly as possible. And you'll notice it's kind of in a little bit of a cone shape. So what I like to do is I like to lay it down, and I will set something heavy on top of it, or slightly heavy, and it kind of takes that shape out of it there. Alright. And this is our finished project. We have a nice coaster. So let's take it back over to the table. Okay, so we're back at the table now with our coaster. It turned out very nice. We had done a sheet of these, so we had printed 4 on this sheet. And yes, we could have laid out coasters onto all of them and taped them down and done them all at once. But for today's project, I just wanted to keep it simple and demonstrate one of them here. Something else that's really neat that you can do is you can take a piece of paper. This is something neat that you could do, or you could have your kids do. Take a sheet of paper and maybe draw a circle that is the diameter of one of these coasters. And then a neat item that's out are these Cricut infusible ink pens. And there's almost every color of the rainbow inside of here. I believe that this set of pens cost me probably about $49.95, I believe it was. You can get them online on Cricut's website, just a little bit cheaper if you're a Cricut member. And you can draw your own design or have your children draw their own design, and then you can cut it out and you can stick it on these coasters as well. So that's a really neat project. So anyway, this was the project for today. What I wanted to do was give you a little bit of exposure to the iColor560 and the ProRip software, which comes from Uninet, which is used with the iColor560. It was a really neat, quick project. Next week we'll be back with a really special project. I'm not going to give you any hints on what it is, and we're also going to have a contest. So if you like and subscribe to my channel, you will automatically be entered into the contest to win the item I'm going to introduce to you next week. I really appreciate you being here and visiting Mr. Crafty Man. You can also go to my website, mrcraftyman.com, and you can see the projects we do every week there. There's also links to the different websites and locations that I get the items that we use in the projects. So once again, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you being here. I will see you next week, and have a great crafternoon. Bye.